Hey everyone, today we're going to go over my number one exercise for growing bigger glutes. Now keep in mind that this is Ben's opinion in terms of what Ben's favorite at the moment is. By no means am I saying that this is the best exercise of all time. It's an S plus tier in the rankings. I'm not ranking things here. I'm just going to show you all what my current favorite exercise is for training the glutes, specifically the glute max. I'm going to show you how to do it. So first of all, just to orient ourselves, this is going to be, I'm going to call this a single leg Smith machine reverse lunge, okay, or a single leg squat. And so keep in mind that this is the path of the bar, right? So from here to here, this long line, that's the path of the bar. And of course, I'll show videos of this in a second, but keep in mind that this individual is looking this way. And now at the bottom, you know, he's kind of looking maybe more like that, right? So you can imagine this is the trunk, this is sort of the spine. Here is the upper thigh, right? So the femur, and then here's the shin. And so this stick figure right here, 1, 2, 3 is the top, and then this stick figure here is the sort of bottom. And in essence, what you're gonna do is step number one is you're gonna face away from the direction of tilt, right? So again, this is the direction of tilt of the bar. You're going to be facing away from that direction. And this is very important because when we're trying to do this reverse lunge and lower ourselves down and drop our chest, what we want to see is we want to see the hips traveling from here in this backward direction, right? And so we want to face this direction so that as we lower down, our hips are automatically going to move in that direction that we're intending, i.e. if the bar thing is tilted not this way, but rather this way, we're going to be encouraged to move our hips in that direction as soon as we start bending the legs. Now, the cool part about this is if you put your foot in the right position, and this will vary from Smith machine to Smith machine, from person to person, play around with the foot position. There's going to be no like perfect answer. I personally prefer to basically just find out where the bar is going to end, right? In other words, you know, picture the bottom of the stack, basically put your midline or your midfoot rather in line with where that is. So this drawing isn't entirely accurate because, you know, I would want my foot to basically end up being somewhere like this. But again, just a rough approximation and just a rough diagram here. Okay, so once you basically have your foot in the right spot, all you need to do is basically just allow your knee, this is the beauty of this exercise and why I like it so much, all you need to do is allow your knee to bend and your hip to bend. Because what automatically happens is if your foot is in the right spot and you have this segment and this segment and this segment, this Smith machine and its guidance are going to force you into pretty much the same position the entire time unless your back is folding all over the place. And the beauty of this, again, is just that you just have to lower and press. There's no thinking involved. This does the guidance for you, and you can really, really load the shit out of your glutes by doing this, especially, and this is a sort of key point to remember, if you make sure that your leg is underneath of you. So a lot of people will try to do like reverse lunges and those kinds of things, or forward lunges, where they're stepping way out to the sides, or their legs are in a really wide position to start, and so they're kind of awkwardly maybe not really able to push directly down. Make sure that your working leg is directly underneath of your body. And if you need to, almost like shift over into that leg, right? So imagine, so if you're watching this right now, it would be a good exercise for you just to feel this right now. Just stand up and stand on a single leg and just balance on that one leg. And notice what happens when you shift onto one leg, right? You will move over so that your belly button becomes more sort of in line with your foot. And that's not an accident. That's not something that's compensatory. Okay, that's supposed to happen. So when you shift onto one leg and you're getting set up in this, make sure that your foot is already placed underneath of you. And what that's going to kind of feel like is you almost like moving your foot kind of in line with your belly button. That's a good sort of starting point. And then as you lower down, you're making sure that your belly button pretty much stays in line with your foot because you don't want your legs to be flaring out to the side. That's going to be something that takes leverage away from the glutes being able to drive us forward and upward. All right, so overall, this is the exercise. Again, it's very simple. If you want to do it 2 legs at the same time, perhaps one leg is too challenging for you. If it is, that's totally fine. Just do it with 2 legs, right? Set up in the same way, do it with 2 legs, allow both legs to go backward, right? As opposed to just, you know, one sort of leading as the trail leg and the other as the you know, working leg. Doing 2 legs is fine as well. Although what I would say is that you'll be able to focus a little bit more precisely on your execution when you're doing it single leg. And because you can center yourself over on one side with one leg, you can also train more of the total portions of the glute max, the lower and the upper portions, a little bit more evenly, whereas doing it 2 legs at the same time will be a little bit more specific to just the lower portion of the glute max. In a relative sense between the variations. Oh yeah, and the last thing that I forgot to mention is just make sure you're light on the back foot. You don't want to be basically like driving up off of it. You want to almost treat it like it's just a kickstand for balance that's preventing you from feeling like you're falling backward. So overall, if you haven't tried this variation, I hope it helps and I hope you like it. If you don't have a Smith machine, you can of course try to basically just mimic the technique here with something like dumbbells or cables, or even just a barbell on your back with a single leg reverse lunge.